We are so back. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and I am so excited to be making content again. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are back. I am officially moved into the new house. And by officially moved in, I mean we are still unpacking. As you can see, boxes behind me. None of my stuff is up and just all of that stuff. But I finally set up my computer, and life has calmed down enough for me to do things. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. And what better way to start making content again than by talking about the Tennessee Titans game, which we have coming up this Sunday, and is a great opportunity for the New York Jets to get right, because that's exactly what we need. We need a get right game after what happened last Monday against the San Francisco 49ers, and the Tennessee Titans are the perfect team to do it with because, well, the things that they struggle to do, we kind of do really, really well, and that is defend, and the things that they struggle to do is, score points. And look, talking about the San Francisco game, because I haven't made a video for a lot of the summer and for, the preseason and things like that, I kind of knew that we were going to lose that game. I didn't expect us to lose that game that way. And if you were watching Gunny of the New York Jets Situation Report, you would have heard my talking point, which was always that the New York Jets should have played their starters in the preseason. This idea of scared ball, we're not going to play our starters because we're scared for whatever reason, I absolutely hate it. It is one of my biggest pet peeves, is that mentality of, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to start these guys. We're not going to play these guys. And they can get it week one. I hated the idea of that, this fear of, what happens if our players get hurt? Well, then they get hurt. It's better than going into week one with a ton of rust on. And that's exactly what happened against the San Francisco 49ers. But there were some bright spots, and there are some things that we can do to capitalize it. Number one, our defense versus their offense, because we need to get a get-right game for our defensive line. Going up against the San Francisco 49ers offensive line and making them look like a world-class offensive line unit is absolutely abysmal, because outside of Trent Williams, the San Francisco 49ers do not have a really good offensive line. They had a rookie and Dominic Pooney, a third rounder, starting in at right guard. McKivitz was talked about as one of the worst right guards in all of football last year, and all of these things going on. Well, the Tennessee Titans don't have all that good of an offensive line. They have second-year player in Peter Skoronski. They took him with, I believe, the 11th overall pick in last year's draft. They have him at left guard. They have a new first-round pick. They took him, I think, number 7 overall in J.C. Latham, and it's very public knowledge, my thoughts of J.C. Latham. And, they didn't even play him on the right side. They moved him over to the left side. And, again, he graded out as one of the worst pass blockers in the NFL last week against the Chicago Bears. And this isn't supposed to be a dig on the Bears. The Bears actually have a solid defense, but their defense isn't as good as the New York Jets. This is a get-right game. Go and absolutely dominate this offensive line. Go out there and bully Will Levis, because we have the secondary to cover their wide receiver group, because there's not really anybody that I'm worried about in that wide receiver group, and in terms of we can't cover them or we need a scheme towards them kind of a thing. Calvin Ridley, fine. DJ Reed can lock up Calvin Ridley. DeAndre Hopkins, cool. Sauce can lock up DeAndre Hopkins. Michael Carter can lock up Tyler Boyd. There's no one on that wide receiver group that you're you got to watch out for that guy, because I don't know if Sauce can handle him, or I don't know if DJ. We have the best cornerback trio in the NFL, and it's not close. And so we have to be able to go out there and dominate a team like the Tennessee Titans on defense. Now, when we talk about our offense, we saw some good things from our offense in the beginning of the game before the play calling got really repetitive. We saw play action, which was really, really nice. We saw a lot of pre-snap motion, which is something that we didn't expect from an Aaron Rodgers-led offense, because he hadn't done that a ton in his past like in Green Bay as a quarterback in his career, and these are modern tools that you need to use to get people open. We tried to get the ball to Garrett Wilson a ton like early, and I like the ideas of that. It's just about maintaining those ideas. Let's get the ball to Garrett Wilson early and often and keep that going. Let's get Mike Williams more involved in the game. I know we're slowly bringing him in, but if that's the case, his snap count should go up this game, and that's exactly what we need from Mike Williams, is using him more. Allen Lazard had what was a good game, right? I still don't like Lazard, and he still has a long way for me to really forgive him for the stuff that happened last year. But look, he looks good with Aaron Rodgers. That's what he did, and redeemed himself after that dropped pass on third down in the first drive. And so we have the pieces, Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard, and like, let's not get into the run pass, which is what happened late in the game. Let's commit to getting our superstars the ball early and often with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. But let's also not be afraid of our depth. And that was one thing that I didn't like from the San Francisco game. Where was Malachi Corley? Where was Braylon Allen? Where was some of these guys that we had just used draft picks on and resources on? Where were they? Why weren't they a part of the offense? Why weren't they rotated in? Let's see those guys and their roles start to increase, and let's just stop the run. We shouldn't be scared of any running back on the Tennessee Titans. And the good thing is that we don't have to face who quite possibly might be the best offensive coach of our generation, which is Kyle Shanahan. And before you guys get in the comments and start yelling at me, Andy Reid is not of the current generation, like of our generation. He's of the previous generation, right? Like Andy Reid is like 68, 69 years old. That is an old man. That is not the current generation. He is the previous generation, and when he retires, the next Andy Reid is Kyle Shanahan. He is an offensive genius, and we got out-coached, plain and simple. We shouldn't get out-coached by the Tennessee Titans. A buddy of mine, so I'm in a ton of pick'em leagues. This is a quick little anecdote before I end the video. I'm in a ton of pick'em leagues, and one of my buddies, we have a group chat, and we were talking, he's like, oh, who are you picking for this week in the pick'em league? What's your strategy? And my strategy is I'm trying to pick early on teams that aren't going to get a ton of wins throughout the season, so that I don't get into a situation where like I have to pick the Chicago Bears to win a game against, an actual opponent that like I'm stuck in a corner. You like, well, you got to take the Bears because you already picked the Vikings, and the Bears are going to play the Vikings, and they're not going to beat the Vikings, but you got to pick them now. And so like I took the Bears last week in a ton of my Survivor pick'em games, and it worked out, right? I have a buddy of mine who said that every week he is literally just going to jump between the Panthers and the Titans and pick the team that they are playing against because he feels like that is the best strategy. And I was like, it's not a bad shout because Tennessee and the Panthers aren't going to win a ton of games, and that is the point. They shouldn't win this game. The New York just should go out there and absolutely dominate. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I am so excited to be back. If there are any stories that you want my opinions on or updates on or anything, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for hitting the like button on your way out. Go Jets. Get on out of here, guys.